Okay, one of the questions says that you should determine the kind of angle this guy here, which is the viewing degree and the W degree has. Is that okay? So meaning that what is the relationship between the two of them? One thing about the plane geometry here, you should know what to use and how to use it. So now here, this arrow here tells me that these two lines are what are parallel. So if you say that they are parallel, let's say consider this one to be one road, or maybe first road here, road number one, and then road number two. So these are straight road, right? So this is one route here, this is another route. There's no way the two of them can meet. Is that okay? That is when we say that they are what? They are parallel. Okay. Now if they are parallel here, then one thing you have to pay a close attention to, if they are parallel, we are going to look for alternate angles, and then corresponding angles. Is that okay? These are the two things. Remember, the condition has to be met first. So here the two lines, or maybe three lines, have to be parallel before you can go for these two people. Once, just like let's say if you are not in uniform, you are not permitted to enter the class, right? Or you are not permitted to enter the school. So first thing first, you must make sure that the lines are parallel, because before you can look for this alternate and the corresponding angle. Now, what is the corresponding angle? What is the alternate angle? So the idea to remember this alternate angle is to look for Z shape, right? So Z shape like this, or maybe the other way around, right? So it can be something of this nature. So one angle here alternate to this guy, or maybe this one alternate to this. Is that okay? And the F here, the F is what give us the corresponding shape. So this is the F shape. So let's say an offside F. Obviously, that I have some. I extended this line here. So the one on top here correspond to the one on top here, right? So the guy at the down here also correspond to the down here. So what I mean by the corresponding here, if here was 30, the top here will also be 30, right? So if here was what, let's say 25, down here will be what? Will be 25. The same thing applies to the alternate. So whatever is here must be the same thing. That will be here, or the other way around. But here's the example. So how can you determine the Z or the F shape out of this guy? But so you can see that here's the angle. There's one angle here, there's another angle. Straightforward. This one gives me an F shape, right? Can you see? This one gives me an F shape. So the one on top here corresponds to the one at the top here. Can you see? So this is a pure F shape. So this guy would correspond. So that is one property, and I will make sure that I stay connected while I bring you the updates. Plane geometry is all about what to use and how to use it. So here, this particular one, we are going to talk about something we call a straight line. So a straight line, so I call it a straight road, right? So a straight road here, and then the next one be vertically opposite angle are equal. So these are the two tools that among all the definitions or the formulas in plane geometry that we demonstrate by this example. Now, the key thing you have to put at the back of your mind is that they say angles on the straight line, right? So angles on the straight line here, they sum up to 180, right? So angle on the straight line sum up to, what it means is that if you have a straight road like this, so a straight road like this, let's say road from town, the first town is here, and then the second town, no curve, no bend, right? This is a straight. So any angle on this this line here, or this road here, is sum up to 180. So let's say this is one angle here, so one angle here, two angles is here. So if you add here plus this one, it should be equal to 180. This is just a definition that you must accept, right? So that is 1 point here. So that's why you said the angle on the straight line add up to 180. So here's the question. Okay, before the question, let's look at the vertically opposite one. So something that is vertically opposite. So let's say here and here, this guy and this guy are vertically opposite. So the definition says that they are equal. So if here is 30, if 30 people are here, 30 people will also be here. The reason is that vertically opposite angles are equal. And the same thing to here and this one are vertically opposite, right? So that's the two keywords that we are going to use to solve this problem. Here they say you should find the values of the x, right? So the value of the x here, what are you going to use to determine the values of the x here? The first step is that we don't know. I will consider this one. I will consider this x and t here to be a straight line, right? So a straight line. Let's say this is a straight road. So let's say we have how many straight road here? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? So 3 different road here. They all intersect at this point. So one road like this, another one like this, another one. So I'm considering this one S and T to be what? A straight road. So the straight road, how many angles are on the straight road here? So this is 1, this is 2, and then this is 3, right? So this is 1, 2, and then 3. 3 people are on the what? The straight road. So meaning that if I add all these 3 people, I must get 180. That is the definition. That is why you say that straight lines sum up to what? 180, right? So if I add all these 3 people, I have to get what? 180. So we don't know here. So if you don't know something in mathematics, you just use a variable to determine that. So I'm replacing this place here by what? By A. So this 25 plus A plus 85 is equal to 180. So if you solve for A, we are going to get what? 70 degrees, right? So if you have the 70 degrees, so here and here are vertically opposite. So here is also 70 degrees. Is that okay? So talking about vertically opposite angles are equal, that's the definition. That is something that we know, right? They say vertically opposite angles are equal, meaning that let's use this question. So you can see this question here is that we have here everything here to be 130 degrees, and then here we have x degrees, and then what? 60 degrees, right? So the question about the plane geometry is what to use and how to use it. That is the most important thing. So one thing we are going to use here is vertically opposite angles are equal. So you know the vertically opposite. So if you say something is vertically opposite, as I said earlier on, everything that is here is vertically opposite to this one. So if here is to be let's say 5k people are here for sure 5k people will also be here, right? So that is what we call vertically opposite. The same applies to everything that is here. But here, look at the trick here. Here is what? 130. So if 130 degrees is here, and here is x degrees, and then what? The 60 degrees. They say you should find the angle here, right? So which people are here? You have to use a vertically opposite. The reason is that everything that is here is vertically opposite to everything that is also here. Can you see? So everything that is here is also vertically opposite. So meaning that 130 degrees is vertically opposite to what? X what? Plus or 60, right? There here has been divided into 2. We don't care whether they divide it into 2 and into 3. The most important thing you have to see is that it must be vertically opposite. So they say they are equal, meaning that 130 here is also equal to 60 and then plus or plus x degrees, right? So for you to solve for the values of the x degrees, that's you subtract 60 from both sides of the equation. That should be 130 degrees minus 60 degrees. That is equal to 80. So you have our x degrees to be equal to that should be 70 degrees, right? So x here is equal to 70 degrees. Obviously, this is how simple you apply this method. So once you see the definition in the question being given to you, just use it, right? You just need to apply it and then use it as simple as that. So here's another question. So we have 40 degrees here, and then you have 13x minus 20 degrees on this side. We want to find the values of the x here, right? So the key here is that what are we going to use and how do you use it? So what we are going to use here is what? Isosceles triangle and then straight line, right? So those are the two tools that we must use to solve this type of problem. Why? Why isosceles? So if you say something is isosceles triangle, so if you have a triangle, this is a triangle, right? So it will have a 3 different what vertices. That's the definition. So to break it down, it has 3 different what pointed side here. So that's what we call a triangle, right? 3, right? So then isosceles means that 2 sides are equal. So if you are here, you are here. So this line here tells me that the angle here is the same as the angle here, right? As well as the length or the distance from here to your friend's place is the same as the distance from here to the school premises. Is that okay? So that's also why we call this triangle what? Isosceles. So if you say something is isosceles, it means that 2 sides what are equal, right? So that's also what we are going to use. So with this symbol here, it means that this angle here and then this angle here are equal with the help of this symbol, right? Okay, now if these two people are equal, if it's something that we don't know, we need to find here before we can easily determine the values of the x here. So if you don't know something in mathematics, you use the letters to do that. There's already x here. Maybe that was the s is the primary letters that we have been using. So we use a different letter, that is a and a. The reason why a here, because the angles are the same with the help of what the isosceles. Right? Okay, now so that would be 40 plus what plus a is equal to 180. It's equal to 180 because all the angles in the triangle, right? 1, 2, 3. So any angles in the triangle, if you add all of them together, I must get 180, right? So that's what we call the sum of the interiors of a triangle sum up to 180. That's very, very simple. If you are here, that another person is here, another person is here. So if you add all of your ages, that must give me 180. So if you solve for this, you just need to solve for this one. So Now you just need to solve for the values of the a. So if you solve for the value of the a here, you are going to have a 70, right? So this is 2a here is equal to 80 minus what? Minus 40, right? So here you divide both sides by 2, that gives us what? 70. So meaning that one side here is 70. So what will be the next k or the next two that you can use to find the value? So this is a straight line, right? So you have to use the angle on the straight line. You've already seen that. So this is a straight line. So a straight road from here to here, right? Don't go beyond. Once this is a curve, don't go beyond here. So here it's a straight line. So you can see that this line is on the straight line. Remember the definitions of the straight line. Anything on the straight road here sum up to what? 180. Is that okay? So if it sum up to 180, so it means that if I add this and then everything that is here, the sum of two, this is what we are calling the straight line, right? So from here to here, yeah. So here was what 70, right? The A here was what 70, and then here you have 13s minus 20 degrees. Is that okay? So remember the definitions of the straight line. So if I add you and then add everything that is here, I must get what 180, right? So that is 70 plus or 13s minus 20s is equal to 180. So remember we are looking for this value here. So you subtract this guy. This guy gives me what 50, and then you subtract 50 from both sides here, right? So you are going to have 13s that is equal to 130. So divide both sides by 13. The value of the s is what? Is 10 degrees here, right? So this is how simple you'll be using some of what the definitions on the plane geometry. Let's look at the next one. The next two under the plane geometry here is the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two interior opposite angle, right? So that is one definition. So have a look at it. Don't worry about this definition. I will demonstrate how to use this thing with this example here. Of course, we want to find the value of the guy, right? So the guy missing here, we are represented that by x. So as usual, so x is the primary letter that we use to represent something that we don't know. Now we want to find the value of this x, right? So x everywhere, x is here. So the most important thing is to know the tool that you can use. So this is what you are going to use. So what it means is that this is a triangle. These are the people inside the room, right? So this is a triangle. You can see that with the letters, let's say M and O, right? So M and O is a triangle like this one, right? That's a triangle. Anybody that is outside the triangle is what? The exterior, right? So you are outside. So you are the exterior. You are outside the room. So the definition is saying that if you are here and then this guy is here, so meaning that the two of you are facing each other. That's what we are calling the opposite of interior angles of a triangle is equal to the external. So if you add the two of you here, this plus this one, right, the two of you here, it must be equal to, remember, look at where this guy is not here, right? You have to be here so that the two of you will be opposite. So if you add the two of you here, that should be equal to the external. That's what the definition is saying, that the exterior angles of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two interior opposite angle, right? So that's very, very simple to understand. Okay, so what we are going to do, you need to add everything here plus everything, and that is equal to the external. So if you add these two people here and then that is equal to the external, that's what the definition. If you don't know what to use, there's no way you can solve this problem. So based on the information gave you and how the diagram is being drawn, then you must know what to use. So if you sum everything up, here you are going to have what s plus what 25 plus what 2s plus 5, that is equal to 6s. So sum everything together, you should arrive at somewhere where you are going to divide this everything by 3, and then you have your x to be 10, right? So if you have your s to be 10, if you are not getting some, make sure that you comment down below, right? So comment down below and then we are ready to help you. Now what will happen if they ask you to find the angle here? You say you just need to multiply this thing by s to get the angle outside. That will give us 60, right? So if you want to determine the angle here, how can you find the angle here, right? You can see that this is a straight line. So what try this thing and give me the answer in the comment section below, right? So here is a straight line. So I want to know the angle here. So what will be the angle here at this portion? So try just this, whatever is here plus what 6 x is equal to what 180, right? So 180, and then you know the values of the x here. So this is try this thing and comment down below, right? Another thing you have to pay close attention to on the plane geometry here is what a polygon. So talking about polygons can be in any figure here. Let's say this one is a polygon, right? So this is a quadrilateral, maybe four-sided shape here is a polygon. Maybe the one with what five shape, 1 2 3 4. Maybe let's make this one 5. So 5 shape here is what another polygon, right? Oh, this is also another polygon, right, with the 5 of sizes here. Now, there are 4 key main things that you have to understand on the polygon. So, one is what the sum of the interior angles of what a regular polygon, right? So the sum, so the definition is the most important thing. So one keynote here, they say the sum of the interior angles. So interior angles, something, anything that is inside, right? Anything that is inside here is what we are calling what the interior. So the sum of all these angles here, this is what we are going to use to determine that. That's the n minus 2. Everything multiplied by 180 degrees. Is that okay? This n here is the number of the sizes. Once you know the number of the sizes, you can easily determine the sum of all the interior angles. So this one has how many sizes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 sizes. So you just need to replace this n here by 5 and do your calculation, right? So note this thing. This is the sum of the interior angles, right? Now the next one is the sum of the interior angle, right? So this one is just 1, right? So this is just 1. So the same thing applies to the definition, but here we are going to divide by n. The reason why we are dividing by n here is that because this is just one angle, but here we are having angle. So note the difference between what these two things here, right? And then the next one will be what the external, So the sum of the external. So maybe we want to extend this one to somewhere like this, like this, right? So the external, I've already explained the meaning of the external by the previous one example here, but the key here, what I want to lay emphasis is this thing, angles and what angle, right? So the sum of the external angles, the sum up to a 360. So depending on the angles that they will give you, if it is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you know that if it is external, if you add all the external, you are going to get 360. But if they ask you to find only one, like the sum of the external angle, this is only one, right? So make sure that you're going to divide everything 360 by 8. If you want to have some questions on the polynomials, on the polygons here, make sure that you just comment down below. Give us any question that you don't get, it's under the comment section. We are ready to help you wherever you are.